I want to encourage listeners, don't let the media sway you. Don't let the lies of the enemy deter you. God is raising up a remnant that is anointed and powerful, and we're going to win this battle. And I don't think politically we're going to win it just through natural means. I believe that God is going to step in, hold up our arms, and begin to release an anointing that deals with some of these wicked people. I believe the Lord really spoke this to me, that God is going to begin to remove some of these people independently of anybody else doing it. They're not going to be voted out. I believe you're going to see some people begin to die, and God is going to replace them with godly men. And so I'm encouraged.
The reason why I showed you that clip of the false pastor Kent Christmas is it's just an example of how he's just one of many, and how evangelicals are always wishing death upon people. And the reason why that sets the tone for this message. But before we go any further, I've got the notes. So pardon me for the little echoing. I got to get all that situated, but sorry for that. But I've got the notes today because, before I was saved, I was crazy. I was out there running ragged. I was doing people wrong and doing any and everything I want with no fear of the Lord, as most of us. And that's why I had this message titled, talking about why is evangelicals so bitter towards sinners. And I remember I said this many messages ago, maybe a few years ago, but I have a distant cousin there that grew up in the church, holy roller, self-righteous and things. And she called herself trying to tell me about the Lord sometime. And she knew what I was doing and how I was conducting myself out there living in the world. And she called me up one time and she says, you keep it up. You keep it up. You know what? You're going to find yourself straight on the way to hell. Boom, and slammed the phone down on me. Slammed it down on me. Now, is that how you're supposed to conduct yourself towards somebody that doesn't know the Lord and you're trying to be a witness and a light to somebody? Well, this is what we have going on right now in society. And this is why I wanted to jot this down. Because you have these evangelicals and fake people like Kent Christmas and all of the evangelical leaders and all of them that sit there, and YouTubers as well. They're so mad as sinners. You would think that they were saved at birth. The way that they conduct themselves and the way they act. Oh, they've been saved their entire life. They've just been, living perfect and walking down the yellow brick road, and all has been so well for them. But they're so angry. They're angry, as I have on here. They're so mad at gays and trans and any other types of people that is just living that's not according to the scriptures. And they're mad about that. Boy, they got so much anger towards these types of people. Then they're mad at divorced people. Oh, they're mad if you didn't keep your family together, or if you want to leave an abusive husband, or you want out, or they find that out. Oh, they're mad. They're mad at that. They're mad at immigrants. They're mad at immigrants so much that they don't care if they lose their lives. They don't care if they're separated from family, that the kids can be taken away from them and they're separated and all of these things, or that they could be thrown back into the middle of a civil war that may be going on within their country, or where their daughters could be sold off into sexual slavery and all of that. They don't care. They're mad. They're just mad, angry, so bitter, aren't they? Oh, I tell you, everyone here, they're mad. They're mad at someone, of a woman, a female, that may have had an abortion. So mad. Reminds me back to the story back when I first got saved. I knew somebody that was pregnant, didn't know the Lord, and was left by her boyfriend, and was 8-9 months close to having this baby, and ended up where she was living with them and had nowhere to go, and was sleeping in stairwells and apartments, and went to a church seeking out comfort of some sort. And the first thing she told me, they were asking her, Where's the baby's dad? And where's dad? And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And begin to shame her. All of that. And these were church folks. And this is what I've seen this happen over my 30 years of being within the faith. The shaming, the bitterness, the hatred that goes towards people and things like that. And this is what we have. And then I have on here, that you have this all of a sudden, you have this, where you've seen a week or two ago where the 70 Christians were killed there over in Congo. And you got YouTubers, Christian YouTubers and Christian leaders, some of them saying, oh, the media ain't talking about it. They're not saying anything. They're silent and all of these things. And I said, oh, that sounds real nice. But when you look here on Open Door, which keeps up with persecution and the deaths of Christians and things around the world. I'm going to read some stats for you. I want you to see this as you see it pop up on the screen here. According to the Open Door, in 2023, we had 5,621 Christians in other parts of the world that died due to their persecution. And then the other numbers, as you've seen there on the screen, killed in the parts of the world. And main parts where it has happened is in Somalia, North Korea, Libya, Yemen, and places like that have the highest rates. So they make their point about the 70 Christians over in Congo that were murdered and things. But these same evangelicals have nothing to say about the thousands or possibly hundreds of thousands that are not getting the life-saving care by medical and food because of starvation with the USAID that's been placed on hold, and the food may go to waste. And this is sitting in a warehouse where we've been taking care of people around the world like that are in starvation in many of them African countries, including Congo. And many more than 70 people, they may not all be Christian, are going to die. He who gives to the poor lends to the Lord, and the Lord does repay what he has borrowed. So this food is just going to go to waste, possibly, and you're going to have all of these thousands and thousands of kids and people in these countries die, and evangelicals have been silent because, once again, it's all about them and themselves. And that's all they're worried about, so that they can push their radical agenda, as I just said, on the others. I want to say this. These evangelicals, many of them, these leaders and YouTube people and so-called pastors and all of these folks that continue to push their radical ideology in other people, many of them think they so bad and tough. Have you ever noticed that? They think they so tough. Because they're so angry at everybody and sinners and people that are not living right and doing right and instead of using the gospel and allowing the Holy Spirit to do the transformation of people, they're so angry. So they're so angry that they're willing to do whatever it takes, and they think they're so bad, and they're claiming so much persecution and things. But I have an idea. I'm willing to put some money up. If there was a GoFundMe, let them get their passport ready. Head on over to Somalia. Head on over to Congo. Head over to them places where you keep talking about all this persecution happening here in the USA. Get your passport. I'm willing to put money on the line and donate. I want you to go over there. Go over there. Set up YouTube. Start talking about government officials. Start talking about the leaders the way you do here. People you don't like and all of that kind of stuff. Start talking. Let's go talk Christian talk. What you've been doing. And let's see the persecution. And let's see if you can handle it. Since you think you're so bad and always want to demonize others here in the United States when you should be a fisherman, fishing for souls, a fisher of men. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Let's see that. I would love to see that. Hey, so wait, let's start up something. Let's get the word out. And let's send them off. I want all these so-called tough YouTubers, tough pastors, right-wing evangelical pastors that talk all this junk and sitting here, get on a plane, all of y'all, and let's go see you do some real evangelism. Let's see that. So you get these evangelicals, the media ain't saying nothing about all of this persecution going on and murders around the world and stuff. You know why they're doing that? You know why they're doing that? I have in my notes, let's see what I have. Oh, they want the public, they want to push this false narrative is what I have so they can promote their radical agenda. That's why they do that. Because you would think that Americans here, American Christians, these evangelicals, you think folks are being dragged out to a coliseum to be fed to the lions. You think that people are being lined up to be beheaded or shot on the spot for their faith. That's not happening in America. And this false narrative that persecution is happening for Christians makes me sick. Because if anybody's being persecuted more than ever, is folks that don't know the Lord, is the sinner himself. The sinners out here, those that don't know the Lord, because you have these radical folks that are trying to push their agenda and religious ideologies onto them. They're nothing but the Taliban. They operate just like the Taliban. Many of these evangelicals trying to force people into a religious beliefs. Force them. We're going to put it in your face. We're going to make you do this, make you do that, all of that. And these folks are not of God. They don't represent our true loving Lord and any of the Christ-like characteristics that we should be demonstrating. So I have that in here. So they're sitting there using that as the excuse. And as we close this message out, I have on here in conclusion, reminded of Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9. That reads, "For it's by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of yourselves. It is a gift from God, not by works, so that nobody can boast." You see, these evangelicals that are mean and hateful and mad towards those in the world that is lost, like I said in the beginning, you think that they've been saved their whole entire life. You think that they've been walking with Christ their entire life and have not stumbled at all, as if that they're special. And unfortunately, there's many of them that pretend to be special because they want to call themselves a prophet. They want to call themselves an apostle. They want to label themselves this, and to where they have so many visions and dreams, more combined than everyone in the Bible combined. And they actually have made a YouTube false ministry out of it. And they're telling you something every day. And it just so happens to be with a politician that's supposed to be the one to push their radical agenda. And on the next message, we're going to talk about one of the radical things that we're going to push back on this particular channel because they think they're slick. These folks think they're slick because the devil thinks he's slick. But you know, if you have discernment and been walking in the faith and studying your word, you should be able to discern these frauds and be able to recognize truth from error. We'll continue to do that on this channel, exposes Satan and his sneaky slide tactics, talk about issues the church run away from, take the devil head on, punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God's channel. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.